Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing fantastic, and today I've pulled some knives out of my personal collection that we're going to talk about. That's right, I've opened up the floodgates for criticism and trolling just for you. But before we get into it, make sure you are subscribed to the channel and ring that notification bell so you do get notified when I upload more trollable content like this. So with that, friends, let's do it. Alright, so if you've been watching my channel for any given amount of time, you know I get a lot of subscription boxes, and contained in those boxes are a lot of knives. But these knives that we're going to be taking a look at, these are knives from my personal collection. These are none of these were you know, from a subscription service. These are knives that I specifically went out, did my research, watched a lot of YouTube videos, and made the decision from browsing, research, to buying. And the reason I want to do this video is because I want to hear what you have to say in that comment section down below. Criticisms, comments, if you agree, if you disagree, whatever. If you're going to try to troll me, have fun. First knife we're going to take a look at is a knife that I bought out of kind of sentimental, I guess, if you want to say that. It's still a good knife. This is the Ka-Bar Marine fighting knife. It's 1095 Crovan, and the reason why I have this knife is because a lot of my friends are Marines. My dad was a United States Marine in Vietnam, and this is a knife that has a lot of history with the Marine Corps. And I really do like this knife, although I'd never intend to really use it, but I do like it, and it's a knife in my collection. And I do like the handle. I like the way that Ka-Bar did this knife. And you know, like I said, this was a purchase that I made, you know, out of, you know, respect and out of a sentimental type, you know, it was a sentimental purchase, but still a good knife. Like I said, 1095, can't go wrong. It's got a really good handle. You know, it's got some big notches in the handle here, you know, for, you know, water or whatever, just to give you a better purchase. But like I said, this is a knife that really will not get used. It's a knife, like I said, I have for me personally. So that's the first knife. All right, now we're going to move along to a knife that I believe everybody should have in their kit, whether it's, you know, for your pack or just a knife to have around your camp. And everybody's going to know this. This was certainly one of the first knives that I saw everywhere when you go to bushcraft, guys. It's a Mora, and they have a lot of different varieties of the Mora knife. These are really awesome knives, really good stainless steel. And you know, these knives are tried and true. You know, if you go to any bushcraft, you know, camping person that's really experienced, they will tell you that Moras are awesome knives, and they're inexpensive. They're not really going to break the bank, and that's another good reason to have a Mora. So you should have a Mora in your kit, you know, or in your bag, in your camping gear. And these are Swedish knives, and like I said, they don't cost a lot of money. You know, very, very affordable, and you definitely need to have it in your collection if you don't have one already. Comes with a little plastic sheath that does have a wheat pole on the end of it. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. These are just really awesome knives to have around your camp and in your pack. So yeah, if you don't have one, definitely add a more to your collection. You won't regret it. All right, let's see. While we're on the subject of pack knives or just you know, bushcraft type knives, if you don't know about Essie, what are you doing? You need to get you an Essie knife. And for me, the Essie knife that I landed on, and the spelling is E-S-E-E if you want to look them up, this is a PR4, and it has this really multi-textured handle, which is awesome. And this was something new to me when I got into Essie knives, but when you hold it in your hand, you think it's going to be awkward, but it's really not. It works because you know, because there's so many angles and divots and, you know, highs and lows. It just fits into your grip. No matter how you grip this knife, you're gonna have a good grip. And you know, Essie prides themselves on being knives that are made, designed by people that use them. And these are knives built with purpose. So when you get one of these knives, it's going to be a knife that is going to serve you well. They're constructed really, really well. They use good material, and you're not going to have a problem. So if you're looking for a knife, like I said, this is the SEPR4 Rowan, and this is just, for me, this was just the knife that I landed on. I really love this knife. It's really, really good, and it's just a workhorse. And you can do what I did. All these knives I'm showing you, you can pretty much look up YouTube videos on them, and you can see how good these knives truly are. Comes with a kind of an old school leather stitched sheath, and these are made in the USA, so that's another good thing too. These knives are made in the USA, single belt loop, but Essie knives are awesome. So if you're looking for a very good quality knife, you cannot go wrong with Essie knives, and you're going to hear that from a lot of people that are into knives that are way more experienced than I am. Okay, so let's see. Zombie apocalypse happens, right? And you need a knife that is going to kind of be, let's call it an all-rounder, right? If you had to have one knife to go out in the zombie apocalypse, this is what I settled on. This is the Gerber LMF2 knife, okay? This is a stainless steel knife, but what's cool about this, it comes with a sheath, a Kydex kind of molded. Well, it's kind of, I don't know what this sheath's made out of, but it's some kind of molded sheath. But it comes with, these attachments here to go to your hip. And you can also put it through your belt here and then run this around your, your inner, your thigh, and then, makes it where nothing's going to happen. So you're not going to lose it. But it does have really, really good retention to get the knife out. So the reason why I say this is a good knife that I would want in the ZA is because this knife right here has a ton of versatility. Ton. These knives are proven. A lot of rescue people use these knives. A lot of military guys use this particular knife, and I'll tell you why. This particular knife has a rubberized handle. The grip is rubberized, so you can cut, if you needed to cut wiring for whatever reason, if the wires were live, you're not going to get shocked because you have insulation between you and the metal of the knife. That's good. You also have and you can tell here this knife has a lot of meat on it. Well, I don't know if you can really tell, but the blade thickness here on the top of the spine, it's got a lot of meat, and from here to here on the blade we have serrations. So if you needed to really cut, as I said, cut stuff, you have serrations there that will allow you to do that, no problem. We have a really good point on the knife. We also have these 3 lashing holes. We have a lashing hole here, one below it, and one at the tail. What that's going to allow you to do is to attach this. You can attach this knife to a stick, make it a spear. If you needed to get down like that, you can do it with this knife. Also here, if you look at the butt, you got a really good pommel. You have kind of a spiky pommel on here. So this thing would make an awesome striking implement if you needed to get down like that. It's very comfortable in your hand, and you see how on the handle here we have these 2 flutes that go out. It really, if you're really doing, if you're really doing the business, being that it has kind of like a half, kind of a cut off choil here, but it also has one on the top. So when it fits into your grip, you have like a ledge on both sides to kind of keep you planted into your grip. And again, this is kind of a rubberized handle. So even if you're sweating or rain or whatever, you're gonna have really good purchase on this knife. This is an excellent all-around knife, in my opinion. Like I said, hit the comment section down below and let me know what you think. If you think I'm right, think I'm wrong, think I'm crazy, whatever. But I believe that this is a knife that definitely deserves consideration to be in your collection or in your preps, I guess, if you want to say that. Has very good blade length. This is a good knife. I love this knife, and the fact that it comes with a sheath system here that is ready for you to strap it to your leg and on your hip. There you go. And it has, like I said, has very, very good retention. And then once you got it in here, it also has 2 snaps that actually hold the grip into the sheath, so it's not going to just pop out on you. Again, if you're running from zombies, you know, this knife staying planted, you're not going to just, whoops, it's not going to come out or whatever, snag on something and you're going to lose it. Again, Gerber LMF2. Awesome knife. I love it. Now, to be fair, when I was looking up that knife, I wasn't looking for, hey, what's the best zombie knife? It's just I happened to see a bunch of guys that were doing knife reviews, and I watched a lot of reviews on that particular knife, and that's what kind of prompted me to go from browsing to buying. So, yeah. All right, next. Let's see. Chopper. A good chopping knife. Okay. I am a fan of Essie. I am a fan of Gerber, of these type Gerber knives. I'm also a fan of Tops knives. If you don't know about Tops knives, T-O-P-S, they are a really, in my humble opinion, they are a really good knife company. And when I was browsing their knives, I wanted to get a knife shape for a chopper that's called a kukri. And I looked at several different kukris, and the one I ended up landing on was the offering from Tops. And I did watch some videos about this particular knife, and this knife right here is a beast. It comes with this really, really cool sheath, you know, and has a little whistle on the end with some cordage. It has a little pouch here that you can put some stuff in, and it does have all of these points here. Has 3 on top, 3 on the bottom that you can affix it to something. But then on the back side of it, you can see here it has all this webbing, so you can really do whatever you need to do with this sheath. And it is a canvas sheath that has an insert for the blade to go in. It has like a molded type material, but it is a canvas, you know, outer covering of the sheath. And another thing too, up here at the top, we do have traditional belt, you know, and this belt is big enough. This loop for the belt is big enough for like a duty belt. So if you are wearing a heavier duty belt, this thing will support that, because a lot of the sheaths that you get, you know, the belt loop won't be as wide for, you know, bigger like utility, like combat rigs and stuff. This one will accommodate it. Okay, boy, I love just holding this thing. This to me, it's such a pretty knife, and it is a monster of a knife. I'm talking about, we're talking a cool 1/4 inch, at least a 1/4 inch on the top of the spine. This is a heavy knife. It's a lot of metal. This is a lot of material right here. So this knife right here is really good. We're rocking a coated blade, 1095 carbon. So we got good material. The handle is really cool. You come down to this choil here. We have very aggressive jimping right up here where your thumb is going to be, because again, you really need your thumb to be planted right here in your grip, because this is a knife that you're going to be doing a lot of this right here. You're going to be doing a whole lot of this, so it's not going to go anywhere. You know, you're very planted in this, even though, you know, the scales here for your handle are not rubberized, or there's no crazy, you know, gnarling or anything like that. And to be honest with you, when you get this in your hand, it doesn't feel like you need it. How Tops pulls that off, I don't know, but it just works. Like when you have this in your hand, it just feels very, very comfortable, very natural, and I can't say enough about it. And like I said, this was the knife that I landed on for this particular function that I wanted to have a knife specifically for, because let's face it, you know, when you buy a knife like this, a kukri, you're buying it for what the knife is designed to do, which is to be a good chopper. And I think it does an awesome job. Do have at the tail here, we do have a, you know, it goes out of the grip scale, and it does have a lashing hole. It only has one, so, you know, which you're not, like I said, you're not worried about really lashing this particular knife up just because of what this knife is. But yeah, and the thickness of the spine, you know, it doesn't taper, you know, like way back here. It doesn't start tapering until about right here. So you got this whole meat all the way to about right here, and then it tapers to the point. So this has a lot of meaty real estate. So this is definitely a workhorse of a knife. You know, this is made to put in that work. And again, YouTube, I've watched reviews on this knife, and I've seen people beat the bejesus out of this knife, and it just keeps on giving, you know. So this is just an awesome knife. Let me know what you think. If you have an opinion that would differ from any of these knives, you know, definitely let me know, because I would definitely be curious, because I'm always open to, you know, people's opinions and even new suggestions, right? Because once again, you know, I did research to get all these knives, and I'm definitely open to hearing, you know, any other criticisms or any other options, especially that, because I love hearing other people's feedback, what they think or what they have. Like if you have experience with a particular knife that has served you well, definitely hit that comment section and let me know, because that's the kind of stuff I'm looking for. Okay. Now, you need a tank. I mean a tank of a knife. Well, I give you the Ka-Bar BK2. Has a molded sheath that has really good retention. Has this belt loop, this big loop right here. I mean, this is a monster loop with a, you know, little piece here to go over the handle. Oh, I don't know what to say about the BK2, the Ka-Bar BK2. This knife is a crazy knife. It's another one of these ones. It's like a 1/4 inch, you know, a 1/4 inch of steel on the spine. It's full tang. We have a pommel on the end. We have a big old lashing hole on the end that you could run quarters through and then try to wrap this bad boy up. But this thing's got some weight on it. It's heavy, and let's see. I have watched guys do things that I wouldn't necessarily do with a knife. I've seen them do to this knife, because this knife is just crazy. It's a crazy knife. And this, again, it's a coated blade, and it is a 1095 Crovan steel, so it's a really good steel. The handle is very it's unremarkable. You do have a little bit of a kick up right here and a kick up back here, because when you get into your grip, you see my hand fits perfect, and it still will accommodate someone with a bigger hand than mine. And there's nothing. The top of the spine is completely flat. There's no jimping. There's nothing, and it's perfectly straight. There's no angles. It's literally like you take a big hunk of steel and you just cut one piece, the blade, and then cut this little piece right here for the handles. That's it. And that's exactly what they did. And this knife right here, I would not want to face somebody that was holding this knife right here, because to me, this knife would eat another knife. Like you pull a knife on me, I pull this out. It's like a Crocodile Dundee moment. You know, you pull a knife and I look at you and say, that's not a knife. I pull something like this out right here, this big old beast, and I say, this right here, this is a knife. That's what this is. So, just a tank. Like I said, this is a tank. Out of all these knives I've shown, this is the beast. This right here is the beast. So yeah, if you have any experience, if you want to see some really cool videos, definitely, you know, go back into YouTube and type in BK2 like torture, and I've seen guys do crazy stuff with this knife, and it does it. So this is kind of a knife that I would have when, you know, stuff really gets crazy. You know, that I know, okay, you know, kind of like a knife if your life depended on it. Because ultimately, if you have like any of the Chinesium steel knives, you know, what are you going to put your faith in? You know, when it really matters. Well, I'm going to put my faith in something like this. And yeah, so anyway, that's my opinion on that. So let me know what you guys think. If you have any experience with the BK2, definitely let me know, because I would love to hear it. And another thing real quick, the sheath here does have some lashing holes. You got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you got 3 top, 3 bottom. You know, you can lash it to a pack. You can put it on a combat belt. You can put it on your back, and side draw it from your back. And yeah, a lot of options, a lot of utility. Like I said, it does have this little snap right here on the handle to kind of, in case it does come out or you snag it on something, you won't lose the knife. So yeah, I really love that knife, and I love showing people that knife, because that and the kukri, when they hold it and they see how that 1/4 inch of steel, is impressive. Okay, moving right along. This next knife that I'm going to show, this is a knife that I love just because of what this knife is. This is a knife from Ontario Knife Works. Comes with this cool, like, desert, canvas sheath that does have an insert for the blade. But this, to me, is a very simple, beautiful knife, and made in the USA. And this knife is, of course, it's full tang, obviously. I love this knife. This is a Blackbird. This is a knife I probably will never use, or I will hate to use it, because I am a huge fan of the airplane, the SR-71 Blackbird. And when I saw this particular knife, I really fell in love with it. And the fact that this knife is called a Blackbird made me love it even more. And I knew I had to have it. And this is a really good knife, just from what I've seen about this knife. The scales here got some meat on them. They have some very subtle knurling on both sides. We do have a slotted hole here on the butt, and it is a spear point. So I really like this knife because of the blade profile is different from pretty much all the other knives I have, and I wanted to have a good spear point knife. And this knife, it's big, it's got some length to it. No jimping. Same thing, top of the spine all the way down is completely bare, but you don't need it, because this choil right here is enough. When you're holding the knife, it's perfect. It's a very comfortable knife to hold. And again, this is a knife I just absolutely love. I absolutely love this knife. So if you're looking for something like this, or if you don't have a lot of experience with Ontario Knife Works, definitely check them out. Go to their website and just spend some time browsing around, looking at all their offerings. They're a really good company, and so far as I have from watching YouTube videos on a lot of their knives, they make really good quality stuff. So yeah, love the Blackbird, love it. Just because it's the Blackbird, that's all I need. Okay, now we're going to get into knives that it's a questionable quality knife, but I love it nonetheless, because I know it's going to get a lot of hate. It's an 8CR13 MOV steel knife, so some Chinesium stuff, and it is a Schrade, and I know I open the floodgates to getting trolled because I have a Schrade knife, but I don't have a problem with them, right? I love this knife for one reason, because it's large and in charge. We got a lot of lashing holes up here. We do have a little Velcro piece of crap here to hold the handle in. It is a full tang. This is Leroy. I love this knife just because it's called Leroy. And this is a big piece of Chinesium. This is definitely a big chopper. And to me, out of all of the bigger Schrade knives, I love this particular knife. I love this knife because of the handle. You can see here we got a rubberized, bolted through handle that is rubberized, so you get a really good grip, but it tapers right here where your fingers go here. It tapers down. I really like that. And then there's some jimping right here where your thumb goes. So when you get into the grip and you have this very exaggerated like choil, and then you have a choil here that gives you a good stop, so you don't need to get up on the blade. But as dumb as this sounds, I guess if you wanted to do finer work, you could choke up like this, and you could, if you wanted to do something small, you could do that, I suppose. But I would just hold it like this, And yeah, I love Leroy, mainly because this knife's called Leroy, and I used to play World of Warcraft, and Leroy Jenkins. So when I saw this knife and I saw it was named Leroy, I couldn't help myself, and I bought it. It does have a lashing hole cut through here at the tail. which, you know, again, these knives are pretty heavy. And even though this is a Schrade knife, you know, to me, it seems like it's a really cool knife to have, even though, like I said, meet your expectation with that 8CR13 MOV steel, you know, that Chinesium stuff. But this seems like it would be a really cool blade, you know, as long as you didn't put it through, you know, too much. You know, obviously you could make this blade fail, obviously. It would probably take a lot to make it fail, but this thing could fail nonetheless. And the meat of the spine stops right here where we have this sweep up, you can see right here, and then it swoops back down. That's where the tapering starts to the termination point on the tip there. So you have the full meat of the spine, you know, all the way here up until you get to this, you know, this kick where it kicks down and sweeps down. So like I said, we start losing meat right here to the point. So that would probably be a weak point if you were doing a whole lot of thrusting like this, giggity, you know, giggity giggity, and you were turning, you know, that would probably, you know, you would probably run into some problems there. But still, I love this knife just for that reason, that this is Leroy. It is large and in charge. I love this knife. All right, guys. So now I'm going to talk about two knives of the smaller carrying variety that I have, because, you know, you guys see a ton of pocket knives that I do, so I'm going to go over two knives in particular that I pulled out of my collection that I personally really, really love. I'm not doing you guys a whole lot of justice because both these knives are made out of the same S30V stainless. And this knife, this is a Spyderco. If you don't know about Spyderco, look them up. They are an awesome knife company. They make really good knives. This is a Spyderco Paramilitary 2. I love this knife to be a pocket knife. The scales on both sides have, you know, a very, very subtle knurling. But on the inset piece of steel that runs, we have jimping on both sides. So both sides of this have jimping on them. We do have a deployer that is just this kind of, I don't know if it's a signature Spyderco thing, because a lot of their knives have this. We have this big old, you know, eye hole here, and all you need to do is put your finger in it, flip it out. Of course, the action is smooth because it's a Spyderco. And I love this because when the knife comes out, you see where we have this eyelet here. We do have a big run-up. All of that has jimping on it. So when you're in it, you see from the grip here on the bottom, we have like a, I hate this call, well, it's a choil, but it's cut into part of the blade. The blade matches, and there is jimping right here on the bottom. And it matches the cut into the scale here. So hopefully you guys can see that. So it matches, which is really, really good, and it goes into the detail of how these knives are actually made. And then we have a rest here where your finger's going to naturally be. And I like this. I love these knives for this reason alone. When you're in your grip, your thumb, you see this right here, this little sweep up, all this has jimping on it. When you're in the grip, your thumb, it like matches perfectly how your thumb's going to sit in this knife. And man, you're planted. You are planted into this knife. I love it. We do have a reversible pocket clip, so you can go either way. We do have a lashing hole down here at the tail. And the way they did the handle here it's very simple. No nonsense, no muss, no fuss, straight to the point. We got just a little sweep like this that your hand fits in really good when you're in your grip, especially on this side, you know, because, you know, I am right-handed. And even with the pocket clip on that side, it's like you don't even, you feel the pocket clip, but you don't, if that makes any sense. Like, you know it's there, but it doesn't interfere with your grip at all. To me, these knives are so well designed. The ergonomics on them are just on point, man. They're on point. I love these knives. So if you don't have any experience like I didn't before I got into these knives with Spyderco, definitely check them out because they make really, really good knives. So yeah, can't say enough about them. Love them. Love this knife. All right, last knife. Can't leave out Benchmade. Benchmade makes, you know, really, really good knives. This knife does, it's rocking the S30V steel, so it's going to be a good knife. This is the Griptilian. We're rocking an axis lock, and if you look here, we have some texturing on right here on the tail. We have texturing that runs into the metal of the inset piece for the axis lock that this knife has, and we got some jimping right here. So we got a lot of places, you know, to plant your thumb in. But as you can tell by the name, this is Griptilian. This right here, this texturing is aggressive. It's aggressive. I like my axis locks because this knife comes out buttery smooth. I mean, what? Look at that! Look at that! Look at that! Look at that! Effortless. Comes out crisp, crisp. Don't get no better than that. Like I said, this is again S30V. It's not straight. It has a little bit of a kick up right here, but we do have jimping on the steel of the knife, of the blade rather. And when you get in your grip, again, this is a very no muss, no fuss. We have texturing all right here, some jimping right here, and it's just a sweep. So when you get it in your grip, have a little place right here where your index rests just perfectly like it was made for it. Thumb perfectly where it needs to be. You cannot go wrong with a Benchmade. This is a really, really good knife. So if you're looking for a good, especially if you like axis locks, you know, if you like axis locks, this is your knife. Reversible pocket, you know, reversible pocket clip, and yeah, I can't say, you know, good enough things about these knives. I love them. I absolutely love these knives. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up, guys. I have shown you knives out of my personal collection. You tell me what you think. Do you think my research might have paid off? Do you think I'm full of crap? Because I am not a knife expert. Don't get it twisted. I am in no way, shape, or form a knife expert. I just happen to love knives, and I love, you know, watching reviews on knives. And I hate to say this because this is kind of shameless on my part. I love seeing people abuse the knives. I love seeing people take the knives and making them fail, doing just the most outrageous, extreme crap you could think of to make the knife fail, to put big chips in the blades, to break the tips off, you know, just to see what the knife, how much abuse the knife can take. Me personally, no. I want to watch a YouTube video. I want to watch somebody else do that. I'm not doing that because I don't have money like that. Because some of these knives, you know, some of these knives are expensive, and I ain't trying to do all that. I don't make money like that, especially on this platform, you know. So anyway, let me know what you think about some of these knives that I've shown you out of my personal collection. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any comments, any other knives you think I need to check out, because I'm always open to new information, you know, suggestions that may be, you know, information that I don't have, because like I said, I do not know everything. You better believe that. And I'm not an expert. I'm just somebody who loves knives, loves buying knives, loves carrying knives, loves having knives, mainly because they don't need batteries, they don't need to be recharged. You don't need other things to make them work. Once you have that, that's all you need. And sometimes, man, it may come down to that, where all we have are you know, our bladed weapons. And on that note, I will give a mention here to a company that I really love, and I can't afford to buy into their knives, but I'd love to. Holy cow, I'd love to. It's, what is it? Is it Zombie Tools? Wait a minute. I'll put a link to them in the description box of this video. If you made it this far, I appreciate you, because I know this video probably went long, but I'll put a link to this company. I think it's Zombie Tools, but these guys make custom knives. They make all kinds of, they make rapiers, man. They got one called a Deuce 2, and it's a pretty big chopper, you know, like big, and it's awesome. And they make all kinds of cool knives, you know, for the zombie apocalypse. I'll put a link to them in the description box of this video. Go check them out, even just to browse. But their knives are really expensive because, you know, they're big, and like they make swords and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's expensive. But anyway, go check them out. And like I said, comment on you know, any of the knives I've shown, any criticisms, any, you know, if you agree, disagree, let me know. Hope you are doing well. And I will have this video up. What's today? Today's Friday. I will have this video up tomorrow, Saturday. So yeah, Saturday. Hope everybody's having a good weekend. Let me know. And with that, guys, hope you are doing well. And I really do appreciate you hanging out with me. It really means a lot to me. And with that, again, we will see you in the next one, guys. Peace.